Welcome everyone back to the Gran Turismo 3 Prize Car Only Challenge playthrough, and today we are going to be continuing on where we left off in the last video, which was after doing the Stars and Stripes event. We are pretty much down to the 1 meg events left in the beginner league. As you guys can see, we pretty much just have the Audi TT, the Mercedes, the Altezza, the Vitz, the Type R, and that's it. So we only have what does that mean? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 events left in the beginner league before we can safely finish that up. Like I said in the last one, we're saving Mercedes for last. I got to do some really aggressive 1 meg racing in the professional league to get this part figured out, but we'll be able to do these two pretty soon. I can already do this one. We're going to save this one for later. So today, I think we're going to do something a bit more intense and use the car from a previous video. As you can see, we have a lot left to do here in the Amateur League. There's a lot left to do, and we're going to be quite busy for a bit. So we're going to go ahead and take care of the Amateur League FR Challenge today, and that'll be kind of our main focus here. So we are going to be bringing out the Vertigo again. A car that, you know, got to be a part of a video, and that's really been about it. It didn't get a whole lot of action. We're going to bring it back for another video here today. So I'm really excited to get this one done. I tried this, I believe, with my Miata, like way early in the game, thinking it would be competitive. Or maybe it was the RX-7. It was one of the two. It was either the blue Miata or the RX-7, and it went horribly wrong for me. So we're going to come back and try this one again with the Vertigo. It should be easy. It should be a piece of cake. But this should be fun. We do have tire wear, which is a little bit annoying, but I think we are on a harder compound tire with this car, so it shouldn't be too bad. This Belgian racing machine here. The 700 horsepower monster of a race car. This is probably the car we use for some of the actual racing, like race car only type events too, because I mean, it is a genuinely good car. The fact that my fronts are already yellow though is a little concerning. We're not even remotely close to the end of lap 1 yet. Are we on like a super soft compound or something? I'm not buying another set of tires for this car, so it comes down to it, we'll be driving the last couple laps of this race on worn tires. More like probably the majority of the race. Luckily, when you wear out your tires in this game, the cars are still drivable. They're just not quite as potent. Whew, no sketch. A little bit of oversteer there. It's okay. That front right is going through it right now. All right. Coming down the straightaway here should be pretty painless as we reach the end of it here. All right, here we go, uphill. Oh man, the fronts are already gone. That's crazy. So that is going to open the door and them to gain a little bit of momentum on me here. Did not expect tire wear to be an issue for me with this event. Holy air. Ho, ho, ho. As we make our way through the first opening sector. They're keeping up quite well even on the straightaways. Which makes me think these cars are definitely not only modified, they are extensively modified. If they're keeping up with a 700 horsepower race car within only a few seconds. It's not like a blowout. I mean, I'm even able to see him behind me there. Now, of course, part of the issue is my grip right now is less than stellar because of these worn tires. And it's not too big of an issue because I can definitely tell we have a severe enough horsepower advantage on the straightaways. As you guys might be able to see there, we were just able to pull away pretty aggressively on the fast parts of the track here. But yeah, I did not go into this expecting tire wear to be an issue to worry about. I expected this to be a pretty painless event, but that is going to keep this semi-close. Okay, the car is just becoming very loose. I just needed to hang on for a couple more laps, and we'll try to see what's going on with that. If it's on like a super soft compound, I wouldn't be too surprised if I'd swap the tires out for something sticky for some other event, considering the power. I don't remember. It's been a long while since I filmed the videos with this car. So yeah, they've shortened the gap down quite a bit because of the lack of grip this car has at this point in the race. But I'm not giving up. I'm doing my best to bring this one home for you guys. .3/10, but then it just widens out almost instantly on this straight here. This car is so fast in a straight line. This modified, at this point, well, it's not turbo actually. Just noticed that. This modified Alpha Busso V6. One of the better 6-cylinder engines ever made. It's a shame we never got a Busso car in the US. I know there's a handful now that have been imported. Very early Busso cars. I think there's even one for sale here in Atlanta. It's a blue Alpha. They're asking like a lot of money for it though. Way more than I would be willing to spend on a 20-something-year-old Alpha, 25-year-old Alfa Romeo. Because I mean, if Alfa Romeo still can't build cars that are like high quality and reliable, I can only imagine the cars from the 90s also are not very stout and reliable. A little bit of air there off of that corner here early on the Trial Mountain circuit. It's like the tires have gotten a little bit more grip somehow. I mean, obviously in the slower corners, oh, kick out the rear a little bit there. Try to work with the oversteer a little bit. Kind of work in tandem with it instead of against it. All right, we're going to enter the straight here. We're going to try to put the foot down, and we are going to rocket away from this guy as we head down into the final corner, or not the final corner, but the corner coming off the straightaway here. We're going to have to pedal it a little bit to hook up a little bit better. Come on, car. A lot of oversteer coming out of that corner there, but it's okay because we're going to come down the hill and bring this one on home. All right, not too bad. Not too bad of an opening race for the video. Only about $5 grand in prize money though, but the main reason I wanted to tackle some of the amateur league stuff that I can do now is for financial purposes, because I mean we're going to be building several cars back to back here soon for Boxer Spirit for, you know, the Turbo Cup, which, I mean, honestly, the Nismo should be fine, the 400R. But even like the one make stuff, I mean, we're gonna have to soup the yellow Eve up a little bit more. We're gonna have to soup up, you know, the NSX probably is what I'll use for the Type R stuff in this one, just because it's a better car for it. Let's check out our tires. So we are on the super softs. We're gonna bump down to the mediums. As much as it's gonna ruin our laps, it's also gonna just be more consistent. I think I only plan on using the super softs for short-term races, not these 5-lap, 10-lap races. Anyway, yeah, we're going to be working pretty hard over the next little bit on some of these racing events with some of these cars. So I'm trying to get the money back up because the Beetle took a lot of money. I'm not going to lie, the RSI rally car build we did took a lot of my cash flow, and that really kind of borked me a little bit on building some of these other cars for these events. So now we're on the racing medium tires. Should be able to make these tires last all the way through these 5 laps. Easy peasy. So we're going to rock it right into the lead here as we head down into, I believe this is the Andretti hairpin is what it's called. Oh, big spin. That barely ever happens. The gravel caught me out a little bit. We're on cold tires, so I guess that's bound to happen. Luckily, I'm not too worried about it. I mean, this is a bunch of road cars going against pretty much a GT3 level race car from the era. If Nissan's going to try to push us off wide a little bit here. He's not entirely going to succeed. Gonna get around this S2000 here, and we have the RX-7 holding down the fort in the lead here. And we are going to be able to get around him relatively easily as we head up into the corkscrew for the first time. Oh, that was scary. Now the tires are warmed up a little bit, we should be able to get a good bit of grip out of them. The mediums are not bad tires. Obviously, the super softs are great for quali runs and stuff like that. So maybe in the future, if we need to utilize qualifying for like Dream Car Championship or the GTWCs here or something like that, we can run those super softs and run the mediums everywhere else. Because, I mean, honestly, the medium seems to be a good happy point with this car. I do wish you could change compound mid-race like you could in GT4 and onwards, because it'd be really nice to be able to switch from the mediums to the super softs, or from the mediums to the slicks or super slicks, or, you know, vice versa with any of the other compounds of tire in this game. But that is unfortunately not something we can take advantage of right now. All right. Heading up the hill into the corkscrew once again. Let's try to make this a little bit more painless than last time out, where we about freaking sent the car off a cliff. Oh, almost spun it again. This car is not enjoying this track very much. It's sliding about everywhere. I'm having a really hard time keeping it under control in that sector of the track. Luckily, the latter half of this track, which is very, you know, kind of quick, other than this corner. It's been pretty stable. They're keeping up surprisingly well. Ran wide a little bit there. It's okay though. Probably could take that closer to flat out, but I didn't. So the fact that they're 3.5 seconds behind is kind of impressive at this point in the game. I mean, this is a fast car, and they're fighting me relatively well. I mean, obviously it's not, you know, super close, but The fact that they're only a couple of seconds behind me versus like in the teens is pretty impressive for a bunch of road cars. Now, obviously, this track were a bit longer straight-wise. I feel like it would be pretty much a blowout. If this were like Infineon, I guess Sonoma, um, or something along those lines, or even Road Atlanta for that matter, like this would be a freaking walk in the park for this thing. All right, here we go. Heading down into this corner here, which I don't remember the name of. Pretty much where the school layout merges in with the main track, I believe. Definitely can't go flat out there. That's really going to bungle this up a little bit for me here. Ran way wide there. Cut the corkscrew a little bit there, my bad. You see, I'm not very good in third-person view. If I was in first-person, probably wouldn't have made that mistake, but a mistake is a mistake. Ooh, big slide. Yeah, this is not going well. I look like a complete amateur right now in this thing. Oh my goodness, man. The rear end on this thing is just coming unglued so easily. My goodness, this is the last lap. This race has been a bit of a dumpster fire. This thing has been kind of sketchy. I'm gonna understeer a lot there. My goodness, this thing is just understeer and oversteer and understeer and oversteer today. All right, final corner here at Laguna. Let's make it count. Big slide there. It's okay, though. We're still going to bring this home and take home a win here in Laguna Seca. Oh, that was a little bit more difficult than I would have liked. All right, we just have one more race to go here. Hopefully won't be quite so painful with the car's behavior. We are at Tokyo, so this is a track where I feel like we will benefit with this car because it is a very fast track, and of course we make 700 horsepower. So I think we're in good shape here. And the high-speed aero in this car is pretty solid. It's low-speed corners this thing tends to struggle with. So here we go. 5 laps at Tokyo. It's R246 to close this one out. Another Gran Turismo classic that hasn't been brought back in a long time, and I so miss it. Tokyo Expressway will never compare to this track. What would be really cool is if they brought a layout of Tokyo Expressway to mimic this layout, if not be just a full recreation of it. I'm hopeful that the My First Gran Turismo demo, which from what I've read is meant to be kind of like a half-hearted remake of GT1, from what it sounds like. I am going to get that, and we'll probably do a video on it when it drops on PS5 this holiday time period, whenever. Apparently it's supposed to be kind of like a half-hearted remake of GT1 and be kind of a demo for GT7 and, you know, a bunch of things at once. So I'm kind of excited to try it out. It's a new Gran Turismo experience, the first time in 2 years. There's some change, so that'll be really fun. Especially when GT7's been fairly, I don't necessarily want to say forgotten about or abandoned, but definitely doesn't get as much stuff going on. I really like. I love GT7, and I go through spurts while I play it every day. But at the same time, it really only peaks around update time. I mean, because that's when we get like the couple of new cars, which honestly, they've dropped the ball on so many car updates. We've gotten so many just second versions of cars that are already in the game, and cars like the Toyota Hiace, which I don't understand why it's in GT. This is a racing game. There needs to be sports cars. There needs to be hot hatches. There needs to be cars that enthusiasts buy, not regular traffic cars like the Toyota Hiace. And I know Forza did this as well. The Honda Odyssey was in Forza for some reason. But, I mean, at least with Forza, when they did those kind of releases, there was a lot more than just a couple of cars. You know, they would add tracks sometimes. They would do, you know, this, and that. And it's rare that I'll say that Forza is better than GT, especially nowadays. But I do think they kind of beat GT to the punch there a little bit when it comes to post-release support. Polyphony doesn't really seem to listen to us very much, which is an unfortunate thing. It's almost as bad as Game Freak. It's ironic, too. My most favorite gaming franchise, Pokemon and Gran Turismo, their developers are borderline out of touch with their communities, which is really unfortunate because, I mean, they've had some pretty bad missteps. And that's not me trying to say that GT7's a bad game. Like I said, I play it almost every day nowadays. It's been a while since I've played it lately, but it's a game that I do thoroughly enjoy and, you know, put a lot of time into. And it's, you know, I've put, I think almost 1,000 hours in it since it launched. It's a game that I do enjoy quite a bit, but the post-release support is so bad, and Polyphony needs to definitely listen to their fans more. But to my understanding, they're like Game Freak, where they get kind of offended more than wanting to actually listen to their consumer base. And I think that's what's eventually, even with how bad Forza has been the last few years, will be what eventually gives Forza the actual edge. And I feel like it's what's opened the door to Assetto now, with Assetto Corsa Evo looking to usurp GT and beat Gran Turismo. And I'm excited to see what Assetto Corsa Evo is like, because I loved the original Assetto Corsa. I never played Competizione. At the time, I wasn't too crazy in hardcore sims. Now I am, but I have access to iRacing and R-Factor, so, you know, a couple games with a little bit bigger of a... Well, R-Factor doesn't have as big of a community as ACC, but iRacing has a bigger community. And so I tend to gravitate towards iRacing more if I'm going to play something bit more hardcore. And I will say GT7 with the new updates has made it pretty close. Like, playing the two games... GT7's physics just seem a slight bit more arcadey than iRacing's are now, but it is a lot better. Of course, when tires wear out in GT7, it's just a complete disaster now versus how it was back in the pre-update physics update behavior. But like I said, GT7's not a bad game. It's still one of my favorites in the franchise. But it's not topping 3, 4, and 5 for me. Or maybe even 2. Or 6 for that matter. I mean, it's... okay, it's pretty far down the list. But, you know, I was one of those guys that actually really liked GT6. Definitely as I've gotten older. Or I guess GT5 is more the hot take than GT6 is. But, I do like both of the PS3 era games. They were both really good. Maybe one day I'll do a video ranking GT games, in my opinion, from, you know, my experience with them. I know a lot of people will be mad at the bottom because I'm not gonna lie. Well, actually, no. Sport would take the bottom spot. I think I like GT1 more than I like GT Sport, and I'm not even that crazy about GT1. And I was born, you know, a couple years after I was born the same year GT2 released. By the time I was even born, GT1 was already outdated. So I'm just yapping at this point again. I know you guys probably care more about the car than my commentary, but. Oh, cut that a little sharp. That bungled me a little bit there. I figured this race would be a bigger of a cakewalk than the last two, and I appear to be pretty right on that front. 13.5 second gap as we get ready to enter the main straight here at Tokyo, which is a very fast straight. And this car comes alive on the straight here. I do kind of wish I was running those super softs, but we would probably already be worn out by now and be struggling for grip. So kind of happy I went with the mediums here, but man, the super softs was so nice. Some of these high-speed corners with those tires just hook. All right, entering the final lap here. Gonna crest 200 miles an hour as we enter into turn 1 here. Almost 210 miles an hour as we enter turn 1. I think we topped out about 206. So this thing is just fast. It's a great car, honestly. With the right tire setup, this thing is just almost unbeatable. Unless you've got a Toyota GT1 or an R390 or a 787B or something like that. But we don't have access to those right now. I'm not even going to get access to like the win probably in this series. So maybe later we'll do a video on or like I said, I think I talked about it in one of the previous episodes that eventually, maybe after playing through GT2 A-Spec, we'll do 100%ing GT3, which I've never done in my life. And that'll be the next stream series we'll do after that. We'll utilize this save file because, I mean, by that point, we'll have already finished a good bit of the game. I'm not going to start this game over for that because this has been a very brutal, long series. I mean, I think by 20 episodes in, we'd already beaten GT4. So the fact that we are, you know, and that was with German cars only. I mean, that was a lot more difficult of a challenge. We had to do a lot more than just playing through the main part of the game to beat that. And I mean, we're 20, what is this, 23 or 24 episodes in at this point, and we're not even, we're getting there. We're almost done with one of the leagues. Now, granted, I used V-Spec for a little bit of it, but, you know. Alright, let's see what our prize card for this video is, because we are about at the end of the video in terms of time length. We got... Oh, I was actually thinking about this car. I was literally like, you know, it'd be really cool to have the Chirino Shigino edition, the initial D car for the 80 Sports Car Cup. Now I got one. That's cool. I was literally thinking to myself, I was like, that would be really cool to run through the game with this, because I've never used it. I mean, I've probably gotten it at some point in my childhood, but I've never used that car before, so that actually might be fun. I'm actually really excited about this. So this car should be in the 80 Sports Car Cup. Let's find out real fast before we close this out, because I would really like to use this in the 80 Sports Car Cup. We are obviously going to build it for that, because it will need the extra grunt, and it is available to run. That is awesome. I'm really excited for that now, because I've been wanting to use this in a run of this game, because I don't even think I have this in my personal playthrough. I'm going to go ahead and change the oil on it while I'm thinking about it, because I will probably forget if I don't otherwise do so. So, alright. I think that's going to wrap this video up, though. So, on that bombshell that I don't even think there's anything negative for me to say about the ending of this video at this point, it is time to wrap this one up. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a fun video. A lot of yapping, of course, and a pretty painless race series. I don't really know what else we can do from here other than some of these other, you know, normal people races. Like, I don't know, normal people races the right way. We got still got front wheel drive, which, I mean, we won this with the Beetle Cup car, so it might be where that car comes back in as well. We have MR in the four-wheel drive challenge. Four-wheel drive challenge will likely be the Nismo. Stars and Stripes we need to soup up the Escort for. Boxer Spirit we need to build the car for. We need to build the car for that one. We can use the Vertigo for the NA Cup. The Turbo Cup probably the Nismo. And then these will probably be the Vertigo as well, unless I get something else in the meantime. Then we have the one make events that are holding us back as well here. So there's plenty of stuff still to do here, and I think that is going to equal some very fun videos over the next little bit. So anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this up here. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did, be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more content coming soon. We're getting there. We're still got a long way to go, and this is probably going to be a 35 to... if I had to take a very wild guess, we'll probably end this off at like episode 42. I'm going to say 42 is going to be the lucky number for this series to end off on, and as long as I don't do any random BS that will extend this series by any more than it needs to be. So anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Have a wonderful day.